Indiana Governor Mike Braun is joining us on Daybreak because his office is recognizing Global Entrepreneurship Week, but also because of his focus on redrawing the congressional districts here in the state. Governor Braun, thank you for being with us this morning.
Good to be with you.
Good to be with you, too. Let's get to business in the state. Why is that a focus this week?
So entrepreneurship has often been mostly overlooked. All small businesses generally have a rocky start. They get very little attention from government. It's normally the larger businesses that do. So we've done a few things. When I came in and reorganized state government into 8 policy silos, one of the new agencies, we're trying to shrink agencies, do things better with less cost across state government, run it better. But the Office of Entrepreneurship and Innovation was to say that we're going to emphasize Main Street and small businesses. Larger businesses that are existing here already, that would be the second leg, and then any of the newer businesses that all states compete for. They're generally expensive. This is focused on Main Street, small business. So done a few things already. Power Up is by helping businesses within their own employee base scale up. So we'll invest up to $5,000 per employee if, in fact, you retrain them, skill them up, and you pay them 25% more. It's been received well. It's just getting started. We're doing things like through the Ready program, making sure that Main Street's going to see some of that attention. And then in general, where economic development is going to be different. I reconstituted an entire board there. It's going to have a broader emphasis. It's going to be very transparent. That's going to be the economic development going forward. So this week, entrepreneurship, small business is where I started. Was lucky over many years. It evolved into a regional and then national business. And my wife has had her only job on Main Street, 505 Jasper, with her own home accessory and gift store. So she is figuring on going at least 50 years. So we both come from that walk of life.
Yeah, and so you're emphasizing really skilling up, training people in their jobs and investing into that. That is a part of this week.
And when it comes to economic development, if you fertilize the field of small business and entrepreneurs, it's less expensive. It's a culture that encourages then kids to start looking at owning a business. There are outfits called Start It Up that actually began here. It's now in like 69 counties. High School Hustle. It's another great group. I was there to see what that has done already. Junior Achievement. We want to get the culture of small business in education and make sure that we're giving them the leg up, because so much of it starts on its own and gets very little attention in many cases from education and or government.
Clearly, this is a passion and a focus for you, business here in the state, but also recently redistricting, the possibility of redrawing the congressional districts here in our state. It's been getting a lot of headlines, and it's a Republican push to possibly get more U.S. House seats. The Senate locally here, Indiana senators say they're not going to meet for the session until January 5th. What is your response to the latest that has happened at the State House yesterday?
So it was an active day yesterday, but the underlying reason would be that over the years, if you look at the last maps that Democrats did in our own state, it was a gerrymandering mess. In other words, there were all kinds of tentacles, or they refer to it as salamanders. And they then nationally have done the same thing. And when you look at a place like Illinois, it's got 17 congressional seats. The last election, it went 47-53. It's normally more like 52-48. But it's moving to become more and more red, yet of their 17 congressional districts, they've gerrymandered so far into central and southern Illinois that there are only 3 Republican seats. You look at the 6 bluest states outside of California in the Northeast control 3 times as many electoral votes. They've been gerrymandered for 20 years. And I'll get to the part about where our Senate is. And then you look at how people are counted into the census. Of course, illegal immigrants are counted into it. and that's estimated to be between 20 and 25 million, 750,000 per district. California, Illinois, New York have inherent advantages there. So President Trump asked all Republican states, started with Texas, Missouri, North Carolina did it promptly. We were asked, and we've been dragging our feet because the Senate was against it from the get-go. And that's out of character with almost all other states. So 20, nearly 20 of Republican senators, which is half the caucus, were for it, if not a few more, when Rod Bray pulled the plug by saying he wasn't coming back. I just want it to be a public discussion to where you get them in the public on a vote without hiding behind closed doors. He's pulled that, and I don't think that's representative of his own caucus. And just yesterday, to adjourn until January, he had to get Democrats on vote to actually do that because half of his Republican caucus was against it.
He has heard from constituents saying we don't want to redistrict. The Indiana code says that this gets done after a census. That is every 10 years. We're halfway through that.
It can be done between. You can do that.
But if
the code said that, you wouldn't do it in the first place.
But it's supposed to be done every 10 years after the census.
It's traditional.
Constituents are telling the lawmakers, senators, that they don't want this.
So you want to hear who those constituents have been? Nearly 100% Democrats and moderate and liberal independents. Republicans haven't been loud on it. Now they're getting louder when they look at what is at stake or when you explain the unfairness of the current configuration. And President Trump has talked to them twice. J.D. Vance has been in here twice. And it has been moving from there are more senators publicly for it than there are against it. And the others have been hiding behind the fact that Rod Bray is not bringing it to a public discussion, just like the House is going to do.
He says there are not the votes. Do you just want to see the votes publicly?
We want to, yes, because that's because he doesn't want to do it. And then he's got his leadership team and a few others that are staying with him. We want to get it to where you do that publicly because it was cascading so quickly. That is when he made the move just recently to say that they're not coming back in session. Two things. Half of his caucus is for it now with that vote that we saw yesterday. And there are 4 or 5 others that if you bring it into a public discussion, we think we'll get there. If not, then he's at least done the minimum obligation. Don't hide, come into session, have it in a public discussion. That's what is minimally being asked.
You have said that you will compel the Senate to bring this to a vote. How so?
Compelling is not the right word. It's going to be discussing it and urging it because Rod Bray will have sole responsibility if it doesn't come to a public discussion. He's in control there. And he has now lost half his caucus that want to do it. And there are another 5 or 6 we think will come along if it's a public discussion. If not, then he's done what he needed to do, is not hide, don't escape, don't walk out. The House has just shown him yesterday that they're going to do it. And that was a big indication. And they had the votes for it and said so publicly. And they're going to bring that to the public forum. He needs to do the same thing.
Finally, before we go, are you feeling pressure from President Trump to do this?
No, on all these issues, it's one of many. And Indiana has been lucky when it comes to all the other things going on that are important to our state. We've got a good relationship there. He clearly is upset that they have dawdled on this. And now, after yesterday, it's clear that Rod is digging in at this point, and it's going to be up to him once the House does do something, and if he digs in again, and then he's made a political decision that he'll have to live with in the long run, and it'll be clear who stopped what has not been stopped in any of the other states.
Okay. Governor Braun, thank you for being here. We'll be, of course, following this topic closely.